The ocean breeze rolled in strong that afternoon, carrying the scent of salt, fried food, and sugar. The Santa Monica Pier was alive, as it always was. Children squealed with joy near the carousel, their laughter rising above the sound of seagulls. Tourists snapped photos by the railings. Musicians strummed guitars, their open cases sprinkled with loose change. It looked like a perfect day, but not for everyone. At the edge of the crowd, just near the carousel's painted horses, sat a young woman in a wheelchair. Her hands rested lightly on the rims, as though she was ready to move at any moment, but her eyes told a different story. They were wary, tired, searching for peace in the chaos. Her name was Marissa Hart, 19 years old, once a sprinter on her college track team. Now, paralyzed from the waist down after a car crash had rewritten her life in seconds. Marissa loved the pier, the smell of cotton candy, the bright spin of the Ferris wheel, the deep blue waves crashing against the wooden posts. It reminded her that life still had color. But there was something she hated even more than the accident itself. The stares. People rarely looked at her face first. They always looked at the chair, some with pity, some with discomfort, some with cruel curiosity. And every time, Marissa felt like she was fading into the background, swallowed by silence. But today, she had promised herself something different. Today, she would not hide. She would not wait for someone else to push her chair or fetch her drink. She wanted to feel normal again, to buy a lemonade, sit in the sun, and laugh at the street performers like everyone else. For a few minutes, it worked. She closed her eyes, let the salty wind brush against her cheeks, and allowed herself to breathe. But normal didn't last long. Across the pier, 3 young men spotted her. They weren't here for peace. They weren't here for rides or music. They wanted attention, and they had already been making fools of themselves. Shoving each other, shouting crude jokes, showing off tattoos like trophies. One wore a bright floral shirt, unbuttoned halfway down his chest. His friends wore patched denim vests, frayed at the edges, trying to look tougher than they really were. When their eyes locked on Marissa, their smirks sharpened. They moved closer, slowly, like hyenas circling. Move! The word snapped like a whip from the lips of the one in the floral shirt. He leaned down, his shadow falling across her. Marissa froze. She had grown used to whispers, but this was loud. This was cruel. And everyone could hear it. Before she could react, the boy laughed and swung his boot against her wheelchair. The chair jolted hard. Marissa teetered sideways, her hand shooting out to steady herself. For a terrifying second, she almost tipped over onto the wooden planks. Gasps escaped a few bystanders. Heads turned, but no one stepped in. No one said a word, and that silence cut deeper than the insult. Her throat tightened. She wanted to vanish. The bullies, encouraged by the crowd's inaction, went further. Bet you can't even stand up without help, one sneered. Careful, she might roll away. Another laughed, clutching his stomach. Every word chipped at her courage. Her arms felt heavy. Her chest burned. And all she could think was, why won't anyone stop them? Then it happened. At first it was faint. A low rumble, steady and deep, vibrating through the planks of the pier. The laughter faltered. People glanced toward the street that led to the pier. And then they came. Motorcycles. Dozens of them. Chrome flashing in the sunlight. Black leather jackets. Heavy boots. Tattoos that told stories of pain, survival, and brotherhood. The engines growled like thunder rolling off the ocean. One by one, they parked their bikes and dismounted. The air seemed to shift as their footsteps struck the wood in unison. A wall of bikers moved forward. Men and women, young and old, their faces carved with stern silence. The crowd hushed. The bullies, who only moments ago were roaring with laughter, suddenly looked small. Their smirks disappeared. Their bravado cracked. The leader, a towering man with a silver beard and piercing eyes, stepped forward. He didn't need to shout. He didn't need to swing a fist. He simply folded his arms, his glare sharp enough to cut stone. Behind him, the bikers spread out, forming an unbreakable barrier around Marissa. The message was clear: you will not touch her again. The bullies stumbled back, their voices caught in their throats. No one laid a hand on them. Not a single biker said a word. But their silence was louder than any threat. The crowd, which had been frozen moments ago, began to stir. Phones came out. Parents pulled their children closer. Eyes widened in awe. For the first time in months, Marissa didn't feel weak. She didn't feel invisible. She felt seen, protected, important. Her pulse hammered in her ears as the silver-bearded leader crouched slightly, lowering himself to meet her eyes. "You're safe now," he said softly. His voice was gravelly, but filled with warmth. Tears welled in Marissa's eyes. She nodded, unable to form words. Around her, the bikers offered gentle smiles, thumbs up, quiet nods. One rested a hand lightly on the back of her chair. Another handed her a bottle of water. They didn't see her as broken. They didn't see her as a burden. They saw her as someone worth defending. The bullies, pale and humiliated, slunk away, their shoulders hunched, their muttering drowned out by the applause that erupted from the crowd. Yes, applause. Children clapped. Parents smiled with relief. Strangers reached out to squeeze Marissa's hand. The pier, once heavy with cruelty, now buzzed with hope. And for Marissa, something inside shifted. She had come that day hoping to feel normal. She left knowing she was so much more. She wasn't just a girl in a chair. She was a survivor. She was someone strangers would rise up to protect. In the days that followed, the moment exploded online. Videos of the bikers surrounding Marissa spread like wildfire. Millions watched. Millions commented. Some shared their own stories of times when strangers stood up for them. Others admitted they had stayed silent when they should have spoken. Many wrote the same words again and again. Kindness protects. Marissa's story became bigger than herself. It became a reminder that cruelty only wins if good people stay quiet. That courage doesn't always mean shouting. It can mean showing up, standing firm, and refusing to look away. And that sometimes the people who look roughest on the outside carry the gentlest hearts. That sunny afternoon on the Santa Monica Pier, 3 bullies thought they were strong. They thought a girl in a wheelchair was an easy target. But strength doesn't come from mocking the weak. It comes from protecting them. And on that day, strength came thundering in on 2 wheels. So let this story remind you, when we stand together, cruelty has no power. If you believe the world needs more people who defend others instead of tearing them down, drop a comment below with the words, "Kindness protects," because kindness is not weakness. It is the greatest strength we